Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hello everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Last Ship, Season 2, Episode 4, Solace. I'm your host, Clio, and welcome to the One Woman Podcast. This is another awesome episode. I feel like there was a lot more action in this, even compared to the season opener, which is saying something. I think this was definitely more brutal sort of action. And just a lot of stuff happened, but not a lot of things to go deep with. Giggity. Let's begin. Bertrice was in this episode. I don't think I was talking about it on the podcast. Maybe I was. Or maybe I was just saying it while I was watching last episode, and then... Well, I wanted there to be more Bertrice, because we didn't see her in the first 3 episodes, and, it's like, I love Bertrice, she's awesome, and because she's super lab assistant now. And she's been super lab assistant since they rescued her, and she, figured out she was immune and all that stuff. So, yeah, she was in it for like 5 seconds, but totally hoping she's in more of this season. So they find out that Solace is a ship that's out there, could have the equipment they need that they didn't find in Norfolk, and so they go for it. Obviously, I don't know, I don't think anyone was like, yeah, this is too much of a risk, let's not do it. Obviously, everyone wants. They've had a bunch of wins, that's definitely for sure, but they're not as close to mass producing this cure as they want to be. So I definitely think that everyone is just like, yeah, we need that stuff. So it's funny because it was Hat Guy who figured out about the Solace. And I think I was just talking about Hat Guy, how I don't know his name, and I'm not going to look it up because it would ruin the joke. I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. What was I trying to say? I was trying to say that Hat Guy was the one who found the Solace and was like, hey guys, look. But when he went in to talk to Dr. Scott, he wasn't wearing a hat. I'm like, I know that's Hat Guy. Where's his hat? And then in the next scene he's wearing a hat. I'm like, oh, there it is. Unless there's 2 of them that look the same. Oh, white men, they all look the same. Anyway. I and everyone are in love with the new recruits. The Israeli sailor and the Australian sailor. Very cool. They're both very cool. I don't know what international organization they were a part of that brought them to Norfolk and then to the Nathan James, but they kind of made it sound weird and vague, Like they had worked together for a while, even though they wear different uniforms and are from different countries. So it just seemed weird to me. I guess I just don't understand. Maybe it's a sailor thing. I don't know. If anyone knows the details and can make that more clear to me, I'd love to know. But we have Lieutenant Wolf, I believe, was the dude. No, not Lieutenant. SCPO. I don't know what that stands for. Wolf Taylor, who's got like the most badass name ever. And she's the lieutenant. Lieutenant Ravit Bivas. Ravit? She's very cool. She's very cool. I like it. But when they were exercising and she was doing the punching bag, and Wolf said she punched like a girl, I expected her to knock him on his ass. Like, that would have been super funny. But apparently they're like, you know, besties, brother, sister, peeps, which is cool. It means that other people on the ship maybe can bang them. Because there was a weird moment. Kara comes down and she's like, well, I heard you got new recruits. And he's like, oh, you must be talking about the sexy lady. And she's like, no, I'm talking about the sexy man. Snap. That was, like, to me, a very weird scene because it was like an eye roller. Because it's like, oh, jealousy doesn't look good on you. It's like, first off, don't assume. Second off, shut it. Anyway, I really like them both, and I'm happy they're a part of the team. They, like, everyone on this ship just works so well together. They're always so well coordinated. Even when Tex came on for the first time. Excuse me. Sorry. Even when Tex came on for the first time, he sort of very quickly got into their, you know, the way they do stuff. I know he was Army or whatever, but what I'm saying is they're just very organized and they get the job done. So it is Lieutenant Burke who's got the crushy crush on Ravit, and you know, he's giving her looks, and then towards the end she sort of warmed up to him and is like, alright, okay, we should, you know, maybe be like touch butts or something, somewhere along the line. And you know, that was kind of cut and dry, and you can see that. Wolf! I believe that it was Wolf and Miller who had like the connection, and I don't know if Miller's and I can't remember. I don't know if Miller's sexual orientation was ever brought up, addressed, but I would love it if him and Wolf got together, because there's some chemistry there, and I could be totally wrong. I could be misreading the situation, but they're my new OTP. What made me think of that? Oh, it's because he was like, nice name. Where'd you get it? My mom gave it to me. I don't know why that to me was just like, oh, you trying to hook up with him? Yeah, you trying to catch his eye? Yeah. I could be completely wrong, but I think they would be adorable. Moving on from my ships in my headcanons, I want to talk a little bit about the submarine. So British brothers, are they brothers? I got the feeling that they were brothers, and it actually would make sense if they're brothers. They shared certain DNA that they both, you know, that makes them both immune. So it very well could be that they're brothers. I just can't remember if they said it explicitly. But in my brain, I've just been like, brothers, British brothers, yeah. So they're the new baddies. Like, it's not just the Zealots. They're part of the Zealots. I think the older brother is actually their leader. What did he say at the end? The head, like the preacher said something to Niles before the sub came up for air. He said, the boss is something. I mean, the boss... I don't remember, but I think the older brother is in charge. And it seems like everyone answers to him. There's a very militaristic organization to these guys. Not militaristic. Bounty hunter, sort of, like, pirate, gangster, I don't know. There's a very sinister way that they, I mean, obviously, they fucking line people up shooting squad style. I don't know. They're very scary. I'm not looking forward. Well, I am and I'm not at the same time. Looking forward to the crew of the Nathan Dreams really staring them down and really engaging them. Because this was sort of like this was not, they weren't ready to face them. I'm going to be scared when they're ready to face them. That's going to be the insane part. Yeah, but the younger brother is just like such a crazy bitch. It's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm so sorry. This is the Sleepy Time podcast with Clio. Hi, welcome. We're going to drink our Sleepy Time tea and talk crazy nonsense. Crazy nonsense. Yeah, no, these guys do not fuck around. They were there to get the cure and destroy it. Only reason they were there. Oh, I guess another reason would be to kill everyone who is not immune to the disease, which is probably everyone on board. Because they seem to be, they think that they're chosen. They've been chosen because they are immune to this disease. Sort of like what's the biblical thing? I mean, there's the flood. There's Noah's Ark and the flood, but that's a little different. Was there a biblical plague? I mean, there were biblical plagues. See, I can't even think of the proper... Anyway, if you know what biblical thing I'm thinking of, if you happen to be psychic... If you happen to be psychic and know what I'm talking about, please let me know what I'm talking about. Anyway, no, they see themselves as being chosen because they're immune. So anyone who's not immune or who has been vaccinated or whatever needs to die. This is why I think Patrice is going to have a bigger role as we go down the line, because she's the only one on the good side who is immune. I can't remember if she's very religious. I think she is pretty religious. Not that that has anything to do with it. I was just brainstorming out loud. Excuse me. Anyway, back to the Solace. They really just, badass their way onto this ship. And, they find Captain Carlos, who is the coolest person. I think his name was Juan Carlos. I had a friend in high school named Juan Carlos. Anyway, listen, Carlos was so cool, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna get back to the ship, and they're gonna be awesome bros, and it's like, no! He's shot in the neck! He gets shot, and then me and my dad are like, my dad and my mom were like, oh no! And I was like, hold on. He may have gotten shot in the chest, and then they cut over to him, and I'm like, nope, they shot him in the neck. He's gone! That's it! I'm done! No, I wasn't done. I was just upset, because I really liked him. I forgot what he said he served. He said he served as... I don't know. But I love, Chandler just gives him a gun. He's like, yes, sir. Shoot those motherfuckers. I really liked all the new people, we met, this episode. Which makes me wonder if we're going to meet, a lot of new people. Because obviously there's this whole group on the sub that, there's this whole group on the sub of I'm assuming most of them we haven't met yet. I mean, we met the two British brothers, the preacher, whose names I'll probably never remember or learn, or there's just so many characters in the show. Guys, I'm trying. trying to learn the names. You're lucky I knew Burke's name. You're lucky. I have it actually. I have a list of names up on my screen right now. But listen, guys, you're lucky I got the names I got. The Solace Doctors are going to be an excellent addition. I don't know if all of them are going to stay on the Nathan James, but definitely Dr. Malowski, who's the one who talked to Dr. Scott, and he was like, no, I know you want to send me back to Norfolk, but I want to be here. And I think they're far from done with the cure, with everything. I'm predicting Clio predictions of the week. I am predicting that if Niles ends up telling the Zealots that he made the virus, and the Zealots are unable to get a hold of the cure, destroy the cure, blah, 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 they're going to want to make a new strain. So they're going to have Niles make a new strain that can bypass the cure. That's my prediction. It seems like the logical thing, especially since they probably can't wrestle the cure away from the Nathan James. More because the cure is not just on the Nathan James anymore. And Niles doesn't know this. The cure is not just on the Nathan James. It's in Norfolk. They flew it out to Europe, all across America. So the cure is getting out there. That's why I think they're gonna work on a new strain. 'Cause this disease, to begin with, was man-made. The man who made it is still walking around with it inside of him. So I don't think that Dr. Scott and her team are done with the cure. I think there's a lot more to do. Predictions! Let me see, what do I want to talk about? Two more things I want to talk about. First, the future. Well, I guess I sort of talked about my predictions, but more now I wanna speculate about the dynamic of the Zealots. And I want to come up with a better name for them, or I want to learn more about them to, have a better thing to call them. But I'm going to call them the Zealots for now. If you guys know of a name that they go by, or that they're referred to as, please let me know. But yeah, I'm interested to see how their structure is. Their leadership structure. I mean, obviously, it seems like the British brother who's in charge, the older one, leads with absolute authority. Because the way the younger brother talked about him, the way he kind of threatened some of his dudes, like with my brother, watch out for my brother, I think that he rules pretty hard, and I have a feeling he's going to be similar to Chandler, similar to Tom, in that his men are loyal to him. They follow him. Whatever crazy shit he comes up with, they follow him. But different from Tom, he probably rules with an iron fist. He's probably much more brutal. He is obviously he's brutal to other people, but I'm talking within his group. And he is feared rather than loved. That is what I think. Having only seen his face once, having only heard him say one line, this is the vibe I'm getting. That they're going to be similar, yet fundamentally different. And I really wonder if Niles is gonna tell them his relationship to the disease, that he created it, that he's carrying it, And if he does, will they believe him? Will the older brother believe him? I don't know. A lot of speculation. But like I said, this episode, a lot of fighting, a lot of, like, action and things. So last order of business is Comic-Cons this week. It's not quite over yet, but the last ship did have a panel, and there's a lot of stuff they've talked about. Let me go down the list. Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, they tried to milk out what's going on with Slattery's family, and they're just like, well, could be sad. And I'm like, yeah, I could have fucking told you that. So whatever comes up with his family, if we find them down the road, I don't think they're gonna be in one piece. I don't think all of them will have made it. They might all be dead. There's a lot of things that can happen. Oh, and apparently he named his axe, and I don't know if this is, because, yeah, Adam Baldwin said this, and I don't know if this is Adam who named the axe or Slattery who named the axe, but he says it's Mary. Bloody Mary. And, of course, the audience for it. LOL. Alright, so, they talked about Danny and Kara. So they wouldn't reveal anything about the baby, the gender, the name, or anything like that. But the actors expressed a hope that their characters would get married. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think if they get married, great, I'm super happy. But I still think they're figuring it out, and I don't think it's a bad thing for them to wait, you know? Because if they just get married because they're pregnant, might not be the best choice. But I would really love to see just how they evolve and adapt to all the shit that's happening, social and, you know, obviously all the shit that's happening out externally. Yeah, I don't want them to just get married because they're having a baby, you know? That's all I gotta say. And apparently everyone wanted to know if there's any chance of romance between Rachel and Tex. And you know, I ship them. But they were like, no, nope. Or at least they were like, no. At the very least they said no, that's not a thing. But I understand. Because I ship them because I think they're cute together. But Dr. Scott has never really been like, hey, I want to jump your bones. You know, all of their interactions, she's been amiable, but not, like, obviously wanting to get to know each other. Obviously, they're friendly. Obviously, they're a good pair, but that doesn't mean that she wants to get involved or any of that stuff. And I completely understand. I just ship them, and shipping usually doesn't have any logic attached to it, as is evident by my Miller Wolf. That's a really good ship name. Miller Wolf ship. Anyway, yes, so that's that. But they also said that Burke and oh gosh, I'm gonna fuck her name up so many times. Ravit. Burke and Ravit may be hooking up, and whether they can or cannot be all touching butts on the ship will become quite relevant very soon. So, I'm thinking they're gonna make this boat rock, and then they're gonna get in trouble. That's what I think. So subs, and this is pretty interesting. The biggest request, apparently, that they've gotten from real Navy officers is to have submarines in the show. Oh, and I didn't get to talk about that, but so the episode opened with the British sub and all of the sailors dying except for the two, because the virus got loose on the ship. I'm so sorry. Because the virus got loose on the ship. And so apparently, it wasn't clear to my mom. It wasn't clear to my mom that it was a sub, but I recognized immediately that it was a sub. So when my mom asked the question, I was like, of course it's a sub. You didn't know? And she's like, no. And then it came into my mind, like, maybe that was supposed to be a reveal. Like, maybe you weren't supposed to know it was a sub until the end, and it emerged from the water. Because, oh, the nerd guy, ooh, who found Patrice. He was looking on the sonar. Oh, and see how many things I forget. One thing at a time. I'm gonna take a step to the side. Kara, fucking on the giant guns, shoots a guy, just like blows out his chest. That was the most badass thing I've seen. It was so cool. I'm sorry, I just loved that. She's like, oh shit! It's like shooting fucking 50 cals from 1,000 yards away. I don't actually know the distance. I just made up a number. Back to sonar guy. He cause when he found the blip, and I was like, oh, that's the sub. The sub is there. But if you didn't know it was a sub, that would have been like, oh, what is it? Oh God, what? You know? So I don't know if you were supposed to know that it was a sub from the beginning, or if it was supposed to be a reveal at the end. That's a thing that I didn't realize, and when I did realize it, I was like, oh, maybe I just guessed way too soon, because I immediately knew it was a sub. The ship, I mean the bridge. The bridge was a dead giveaway that it was a sub. Yeah, what else from Comic-Con is worth mentioning? Oh, they mentioned that the shot of Chandler, and I'm not sure, I don't think I mentioned this, but the shot of Chandler admiring or contemplating the portrait of President Lincoln is going to be a theme. It's going to be a motif this season. And I love motifs. And I wonder if this was one I would have been able to pick up on. I probably wouldn't have been able to pick up on this particular one because, I don't know, for some reason that shot of him admiring the portrait of Lincoln sort of slipped in my mind. And I only remembered it when I was reading this article. But the idea of rebuilding a civilization is going to be a theme. And I think that it's not going to be so much, now's the time to rebuild. Now's the time to rebuild the civilization. I think it's going to be Chandler, mostly Chandler probably, thinking, we got so close to starting to rebuild, and now we have this obstacle before we can get to a place where we can start to rebuild. Like, we sort of like a setback, like a plateau almost on the way to, actually rebuilding. So that's more what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little depressing for him, because they had this momentum. And it was already, like, that momentum was already broken up a little bit by Granderson. And I think it getting broken again, and this time I think it's going to be a lasting one. Because these zealots are tough sons of bitches and they ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So, yeah, that's what I think. So this episode's running a little long because I've been talking about Comic-Con stuff and because my brain is exploded because I'm so tired. So, next week is Achilles. With a small group of survivors from Solace in tow, Chandler and his crew square off against an enemy of the most dangerous kind, a nuclear-powered submarine led by rogue British naval officers, Sean and Ned Ramsey. Oh my god, Ramsey. That name will forever hold, like, just hatred and disgust in my heart because of Game of Thrones. Anyway, moving on. Exo-Slattery interrogates a captured mercenary from the hospital ship in an effort to extract... Oh, right! That's how the episode ended. They had the guy that the sniper shot on the roof of the Solace. They had him in a hospital bed. He all bandaged up and shit. But in a coma. So, Slattery's gonna get to interrogate him. I mean, this guy might be on the verge of death. I really hope he doesn't take out Bloody Mary. I'm kidding. Anyway. In an effort to extract information on the sub and its mission, as Nathan James engages in a perilous game of cat and mouse, the truth about the mercenary sub unfolds. I wonder what we're gonna get. I wonder if we're gonna get anything of the inside of the sub. If we're gonna get Niles, if we're gonna get Sean. I guess Sean is the older one. You know, I wonder if we're gonna see inside the ship. I hope. In the sub, I'm sorry. I hope. I hope it's not... Oh! No! I take it back. I don't want anything from present day in the sub. I want the interrogation to reveal the past about the sub. Like, vague things, like, not enough to form a true, like, picture, but enough to be like, this is what these guys are about. This is why they're like this. Sort of kind of thing. Yes, that's what I want. Anyway, I am sure next episode is going to be a banging episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe for more. We do a lot of TV shows, so chances are we do another one that you like. Check it out. Click the channel. Click something. I don't know. You can find me at Clio on the socials and on Twitch at the Clio, and you can find all of us on ASO TV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. And if you watch, and if you care, and if you like this show, The Last Ship and the podcast, let me know what... I asked a bunch of questions, and I can't remember what they are this podcast. If you remember what they are, please leave answers in the comments below. I will totally shout you out. I want to hear from you guys. I hit a really good groove in my last One Word podcast for Arrow, and I really want to hear what you guys gotta say, because when you guys leave things in the comments, then I can bounce that off, and so for next time I can say stuff. So thanks. I'm gonna leave before this gets any more embarrassing for me, but I'm so tired. I'm the worst.